This is a demonstration of Team 5's FMG question and answer bot project. Just running through the Java project and the React web app. Show you how they can be launched, show you how they function. Here is the Eclipse project. So the submitted zip file for our end of year submission can be imported as an Eclipse project. You can also pull from the final merged repository and import that as a Maven project. So here's a demonstration of how to start and use the project itself. In this case, I'm going to click on the main project and I am going to run it on a server. I have set up a server definition to start it on Tomcat 9. And here is the in IDE view of the service bot. As you can see, because it's constrained to a small space, the CSS isn't designed for a very small screen or a mobile. So I will switch now to another browser view so that we can see this more clearly. So there is the front page of the Service Desk portal. If I go to another tab here, here's an example of an HTTP request which might be sent to from the user interface to the algorithm. And in this case, the query is phone, and it has returned the following JSON file. So that shows you how that works. By default, in this case, the local host is 8080, but it may be different for you. Let's try something else. So this is how the other parts of the project communicate using REST API. So now let's go back to the Service Desk bot and we'll just quickly run through how you use that. You type in a question, and as you can see, once you get past 2 letters, the autocomplete will suggest some longer queries that are more directly tailored to what's in the knowledge base to help improve searches. I'll type in something else. There's an example of what might be prompted for an iPhone. Okay, so let's just stick with our meeting setup. So if I press search, it will return a list of searches, as you can see below, and for each there is a question, an answer, a percentage rate showing how closely this query matches this article, and the top one has the highest rating, so it's the answer which best matches the query. As you scroll down, you can see that the rating of the match gets lower and lower and lower until it's returning trivial answers where parts of words, relevant words, or various combinations of letters have returned a result that's not appropriate. So you want to filter out some of these answers. So what we can do is we can in here in the threshold input, we could type in, say, 35% threshold, and this confirms that the 35% rate will be the minimum match that will be shown. Now if we search, we can see the result, current threshold of 35. If we scroll down, we only have 2 entries. So it's possible to filter your results with the threshold. So let's move on to how the service desk technicians might actually edit the knowledge base. I click on knowledge base editing, it takes me to another page which will list all the articles. Currently there is no filter or sort for these. That's something that would be implemented at a later time. So searching on the page would have to be done with the ordinary Windows search as follows. If you want to edit something that's in here, you can modify it and add keywords to improve the search. Those could be words which relate to the question. They could be the name of a team, something like that. There could be a person's name, anything that would help improve the search, and they must be separated by commas. If I submit that, now you can see that in this case the keywords that I added have gone in here. I can also remove this article. So here I am going to remove this Claim Center article. Okay. So let's do an example of how the keywords can change the actual success of the search. If I were to take out some keywords, let's copy those first. If I were to take out some keywords from this, you can see that this article about gaining access to the SASVA portal only has 1 keyword. If I go back and search for this, it has matched the question, but it has a confidence rating of 43%. So if I go back to the knowledge base editing list and I go in and I add some more keywords, how about if I add the entire question to the keywords? Remove some trivial words. Now you can see that there are more keywords associated with this one. So now when I search for it, the match rate is now 85% because I've added these additional significant keywords. So that's how a service desk technician would add keywords to improve a particular search. And the way that they determine what searches might need to be improved is, apart from things that they discern themselves by looking at the articles or asking their own questions, they can look at a log which contains all questions that are asked as they are asked. So if we scroll down to the very bottom, you can see here are the logged the questions that we just asked. So they get included with a timestamp and broken down from the user input, the keywords that were extracted from that, the question which best matched it, and its associated keywords, and the rate of how well it matched the outcome. And you can see here it is initially 43%. I added some keywords, it went to 85%. So, and here is the, for reference, is the ID of the PDF file. So this is something technicians can use to keep an eye on what terms are needed, what articles might be added to the knowledge base. And lastly, here is an example of adding a PDF. Let's see, what have we got? We have got, let's say, for example, that we were adding this PDF. And we want to use some keywords. We know that diligent boards and the things in the title will most likely end up as keywords, but let's put some other keywords. Let's put a name again, something significant. Right, and when you upload this, it will push that PDF with its keywords. In fact, let's put no keywords in there, and let's simply see what keywords were extracted. So let's go through that process. So we upload. And now let us find the article that we here's the article that we uploaded. And here are the keywords that were extracted from the article itself. And again, we could go in, we could add more keywords, we could remove this article. So that covers everything in the knowledge base and the search AI and the service desk user interface. Now let's take a look at the chatbot interface. In the same project, there is a React web app subfolder, and that can be run, that React Node JavaScript project can be run by opening a terminal in the React web app folder and running a command to start the Node package manager server. So this will start and launch the web app on a Node.js server, local server of 3000. It will automatically redirect to the main page. And there we have the Ask a Nerd bot. Now, if the Java project is running, as we demonstrated here, any request sent to this React post servlet will return a response. Give an example. Here is the JSON response from this word. Let's try another one. Okay. And so if we go to the chatbot here, it's running. We should be able to ask a question and it will be opened. So here is iPhone, the query the iPhone returns the top search, which is about how to set up an additional mailbox on an iPhone. And if we click on the help document link, it will open up a PDF corresponding to that article. Okay. Let's try another query. Here are a couple of replies from phone. Now, because we set a threshold in the service desk project earlier on, it is actually restricting our search. So we're going to turn off that threshold, and we should get multiple answers. Here, and we should get, when we look at the HTTP request, we should get multiple answers here. Right? So now we've undone the threshold. Let's go back to the, let us go back to the bot. We're going to type in phone again. Now we have a greater number of articles. So it's possible to restrict the threshold of the chatbot from the for a search from the admin console. So here's an example which has returned numerous articles. It displays by default 3 at a time. If you click on the link for more articles, it shows another 3, and it keeps going down, and as it goes down the list, they become less and less relevant, so which is why the threshold is important. And in fact, if we display all of the linked articles, we come down to the last couple of articles, and you cannot display any more articles. And again, if you were to click on one of these links, it would display the relevant PDF. Now, by default, this is pointing to this local server, 8080. If you want to change the server that it's pointing to, you can click on the logo here, and you can change it to a different host so that it's pointing to a different host. You can also point it to a redirected HTTPS host, so that if the chatbot is hosted on a public URL, and it will need to communicate via HTTPS with a secure server. So you could put in a secure server if you wished. We've just put in the same server again, and there are also limited kind of chat articles currently in the system, and those could be expanded upon by an admin person adding more jokes, looking at what's being asked and adding more chat. So that concludes this first part of the demonstration. The next part